Honourable David Parker.
Stop the press. Stop the press. We've just seen and heard the New Zealand parliamentary equivalent of that European zoo news story. The cross between the zebra and the donkey. Mr. Speaker, they're worried. They're worried on the other side of this House. They're worried. We see it in their faces. They know it in National. Labour is on the move. We're energised. We're confident. We're cohesive. We're buoyed by a fantastic conference. The media caught the move. The media got it. Vernon Small and the Fairfax Group. David Cunliffe hit all the right notes. A new state-owned insurer to appeal nationally, as well as to the earthquake-wary premium prayers in Christchurch, and a flawless delivery. The New Zealand Herald, John Armstrong, his conference speech, a tour de force in terms of tone, content and delivery. Thank you, David. What a conference. David Cunliffe successfully laid out his and Labour's vision for New Zealand, to build a future for all, an economy that works for all New Zealanders, a fair and just society where all live in dignity, an environment we protect and a nation we can be proud of. All the while, National, increasingly out of touch, failing New Zealanders, a two-speed economy where many, especially in the regions, are left behind, widening inequality, incompetent anti-democratic government, crony capitalism with corporate welfare for the connected few at the expense of the people. Mr. Speaker, National are so flat. This week, they're mired in yet another controversy born of Stephen Joyce's incompetence. This time it's Chorus and ultra-fast broadband. Mr. Fix-It now spelt that other way. That's right. Yet another instance of economic mismanagement by National. John Key's response: undermine the regulator and consider more corporate welfare. Labour, we're on the move. As John Armstrong said, the buzzword of the conference was energised, and he's right. Already, many polls show Labour and our potential MMP coalition partners ahead of National and their shabby, discredited allies. ACT, whose John Banks is in the dock for electoral fraud, and Peter Dunn, having lost his party, was dumped for leaking a government report. We announced a significant move to use the successive Kiwi Bank model for insurance. Now, I haven't got time to dwell on that. Suffice it to say how shrill Mr. Joyce was when he was sent out to head the spin, and how dumb of Mr. English to call the idea dumb, insulting hundreds of thousands of New Zealanders, his former president Ross Armstrong and editorial writers across the country. I want to end on Canterbury housing, Mr. Speaker. Given the abject failure of National on housing in Auckland, I shouldn't have been surprised to find how incompetent their efforts in Christchurch have been. But I really was surprised, because at one level what we announced was so simple. Because the human wrecking ball, he is so blunt. He's great at demolition, but he lacks the subtlety to govern, to stop the waste of short-term rentals, or to give a building affordable housing a boost in the devastated suburbs in Christchurch East. We caught them flat-footed, and it was so easy because they're ideologically opposed to doing this sort of thing. In New Brighton, front page of the press, 2/3 of the front page, the banner headline: a new era for New Brighton. Practical help for Christchurch in partnership with the council. And how did Nick and Jerry both miss it? It's so obvious. It's because they're so ideologically opposed to affordable housing. And they can't blame the RMA this time, because it's already in the Christchurch plan. It's already there. They just didn't find it. Kiwi Build will deliver it. This is how good governments govern. We use the power of the state to make a difference. We caught them flat-footed. Nick Smith's lame response in the press on Monday: the government has made early steps to investigate affordable housing in the city. 5 years after being elected, 3 years after the quake, National caught not just flat-footed, not just stumbling, but plain lame.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Nathan.